Hello and welcome to AD 2079 and welcome to day 12 of SuFamiMas, the Super Famicom Christmas show. Today we are playing a game called Ghost Chaser Densei. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up from the far future, and beat 'em ups really one of my favorite genres of games, and luckily the Super Famicom, the Super Nintendo has a ton of those. The 16-bit generation really was the generation for the beat 'em up. Popular in the arcade, popular at home. Popular in the hearts of men. Anyway, Ghost Chaser Densei, Ghost Chaser Densei, unlike Ghost Sweeper Mikami, which we played a few days ago. This one isn't about chasing literal ghosts, I'm sure. It's more like something like Ghost-in-the-Shell. Cyber stuff. People the ghost in the machine, if you will. Like any other beat 'em ups, it's a 2-button game: jump, attack, and if you push both buttons, do a crash attack. This one for this character. If I hold down, I will block. Hold down the attack button. Which I'm not sure how useful it is, because it seems like, see, try blocking now. It seems like you'd wanna be able to do that faster than pressing block, trying to block now. See, it takes like a second. I feel that's a little bit too slow for a good block. But hey, let's smash up people's cars for no reason. See, they thought they could get away. They thought wrong. Some French fries to top off the health. And rolling barrels. I mean, what beat 'em up doesn't have rolling barrels? Any good beat 'em up with respect for itself needs some rolling barrels. Barrels. If I can pronounce words today. One of those days. This is another game I haven't played for a hot minute, and as you can see under the health bar we have like a gauge for magic or something, and I'm not quite sure how to use that, because I mean, 2-button game. Do I press directions? Oh, I do. Yeah, just pressing quarter circles seems to do those special attacks. And we're using our cybernetics power to find a secret door. That's the future, baby. Okay, so back and forward. Is that the way to do it? Here's the first robot boss, R-Snail. The design reminds me of the robot enemies in another beat 'em up from Capcom called The Punisher. See if I can figure out how to do the... I think it's quarter circle, but if I could figure out how to do these super attacks more consistently, it would probably be a lot easier to take this guy down. Probably just gonna try to zone him instead and try to avoid all his missile attacks, which I'm not doing too well right now. Will we get him? Uh-oh. Ah, okay, we got him. His health bar started flashing red. I was worried he was gonna go into a new form. Luckily that wasn't the case. Anyway, let's go to the amusement park and beat up some thugs for our amusement. It also has a nice dash attack here. But yes, this is one of those games that isn't an arcade port. It's a Super Famicom exclusive beat 'em up. And as I mentioned earlier, the Super Famicom had a ton of beat 'em ups. We are actually gonna play quite a few more. Well, quite a few more, at least 2. Before Christmas. Get the bunny hat here. And the watermelon. The enemies can be a little bit jumpy, which isn't good because when enemies jump and you hit them once, that's when they go to ground. And in a good beat 'em up, you really want to lock enemies in to your combo. Get all 3 hits into them, like so. See there, I was able to pull off the kick that costs mana or energy, but not health energy, just energy. Quite an eclectic mix of enemies between humans, you know, people, the commandos from earlier, who look like soldiers with their outfits, and then these more gang looking guys here. Let's just save this health pick up for a second here. See if we take any more hits. I did. Get the last of these fire-breathing dinosaur things here. Creature, as they're just called. Really appreciate the kind of games like these that names of the enemies, so you can tell what you're fighting. And here's the boss, J11. You're under arrest, I think he says, for cybercrimes. And for teleporting around, annoyingly. See, there's something kind of rare in this one, which I don't know if you notice here, but I actually have a wake-up attack, which isn't something that you usually have. That's usually reserved for bosses. Oh, taking a hit here. But yeah. Let's try another character. Let's try Io here. Who uses a mace. He's like a elven cat girl thing. She has ears and tail. She also uses the quarter circle for her special attack. And that's boss number 2. Not a lot of flash to the cutscenes here, just with the tiny portraits. The same portrait over and over on the mission screen here. But hey, games don't need to be flashy, it's about the gameplay after all, right? And here's a bonus stage, whack-a-mole bonus stage. Where you obviously don't want to hit the beautiful woman. Just hit the bad guys here, as many of them as you can get. "20 hits. And of course this is a 2-player game. You can play two-player games cooperatively, but you know, famously that wasn't always the case with beat 'em ups here. You know, the Super Famicom was the game that got Final Fight, the super popular game Final Fight, and that game only had one player, and it was lacking as a character as well. What a crime. Feel like they rushed that home port, but it did give rise to for Sega to go out and do their own home beat 'em up game for home consoles that you can only get on Mega Drive. Streets of Rage, an absolute classic, and objectively better than the Super Nintendo version of Final Fight. Enemies giving us quite a bit of grief here. Hoping for some more health pickups. I also want to say that another popular beat 'em up, the granddad of beat 'em ups, Double Dragon on the NES, was also just a one-player game. It had two player for like a versus thing, but the main game was just one player. And that's the popular thing about these types of games, is definitely that they are games to play together with friends. It's fun going around cleaning up the streets. Especially here in the far future, full of monsters and cyber criminals that need to be taken down. A merman. This isn't a creature, this is a merman. A merman. That was a Zoolander reference. Pretty cheeky enemies here. I'm really trying to get out more of the super attack here, but it is tricky. And we're down. Well, we still have credits. So let's try the last character here. Gelva, the robot. Robots are cool, but in beat 'em ups I'm generally not a big fan of robot characters. For some reason, I don't know why. I just think there's something beautiful about the human body, able to hone itself, master a martial art, and use it to beat up scumbags in the street. I mean, any old robot can do that. Incidentally, that's also why the European version of Contra, the famous Konami shooting game, isn't as cool in Europe, where it's called Probotector, and they changed the models to robots. because huge muscly guys with machine guns. That's what 80s video games are all about. I managed to pull off the special here. Not quite sure how I did it. Didn't feel like quarter circle. I feel like maybe I should be blocking more, but as I said, it feels like it's a little too slow to use. Maybe someone who's a real master at this game blocks a lot more. I mean, it does seem effective. You can also block attacks from behind, it seems. Yeah, it's not too bad to block. Nice way to bait in the enemies and then take them down. And they're taking me down now. Let's go back to the guy here, Markai, the titular Markai. Markai guy here to take out this final enemy here. Let's see if we can get this blocking thing down here. Because if the enemies really want to jump around that much, it might be a great way to bait them into a throw. Yeah, throws aren't too bad. Especially when they're really rushing me like that. They also got some grabs on their own, of their own. See, just as soon as I let up the grab here, let up the block here, they got me. It's interesting if you notice the enemy's attack pattern. In this game, they opted for a lot of enemies just trying to get you with jump attacks. The usual fare is that enemies try to surround you. The original Double Dragon, for instance, is very aggressive in that respect. Where enemies will constantly try to move around you and attack you from behind. Split out their attacks. Another mysterious character appeared. Maybe she will become playable later in the game. Who knows? Just a barrage of attacks here. I will say that the block is definitely keeping me from relying on crash attacks as much, which helps me conserve health. That I'm not using crash attacks as often as I usually would in other games of this ilk. The can't quite figure if it's quarter circle or if it's half circle to do this attack. Whenever I'm trying to do the half circle, I'm doing this like backward punch where you can like shoot enemies, punch enemies behind you. And it's tricky to get off when you got all these guys breathing down your neck. Can I walk in this door? Nope. Not yet, at least. See, that was a good spot for a crash attack. But yeah, wake up attacks on your hero character, that's really nice. When you're surrounded like this. Now in the options in this game, you can tie a button to the what they call the special attack, but that is just the crash attack. That isn't that doesn't seem to be the fire kick attack that he's able to do. You have to be able to pull that off with skill, with the quarter circle or half circle or whatever I'm supposed to be doing here. Oh, these robot enemies are annoying. Well, that was probably enough Ghost Chaser Densei, but hey, not a half-bad little beat 'em up. There will be more beat 'em ups down the line, so stay tuned for more SuFamiMas. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.